Hello guys, and welcome to another video of the CMA US series where we'll be discussing things in and around CMA US. Now this video is quite interesting for many of the folks who are planning to start their CMA US journey. Now in this video we are gonna cover what all is there in CMA US syllabus. As we all know that CMA US has two parts, part 1 and part 2. Then in each part we have 6 sections. So in total we study about 12 sections in throughout our CMA US journey. So let's understand that what is there in all these 12 sections of CMA US. Now one thing I would like to tell you guys that this part 1 of the CMA US helps you to understand that how we can run a business efficiently, whereas part 2 helps you to grow your business in a very strategic manner. So that's what we study in a nutshell in part 1 and part 2. Let's move ahead and see what's there in CMA US part 1. So as I discussed, CMA US has 2 parts, part 1, part 2. Part 1 has 6 sections, part 2 also has 6 sections. In part 1, we have the first section as external financial reporting. Now what happens, suppose if you have a grocery shop and at the end of the year you prepare a report of which showcases your sales, expenses and profit, so that you can show it to your family members that what was your profit, what was the cost, or maybe if there was any loss. In the similar manner, the businesses, the companies, they do what? They prepare their profit and loss statement, they prepare their balance sheet, they prepare their statement of cash flows, so that people who are interested to invest in their business can make a wise decision that whether this organization is doing good or not. So that's what we study about in external financial reporting. Coming to the planning, budgeting and forecasting, which is the second section, section B of CMA US part 1. In this, what you do, you suppose you earn a monthly salary of rupees 50,000. So what happens, before the month starts, you decide how much you will spend on rent, food, travel and savings. So that's what is budgeting is about. Similarly, when a business, they get a revenue, or maybe when they earn a certain amount of profit, they allocate that money between different heads. So that's what we study in section B, which is the planning, budgeting and forecasting. Coming to the section C, the third section, which is about the performance management. So what happens, suppose in a particular month you just made this assumption, or maybe you just forecasted that you will make a profit of 1,000 bucks. But instead of 1,000 bucks, you made a profit of say just 500 rupees. What will happen, in case if you have the knowledge of performance management, you can easily analyze and understand that what was the issue that why you were not able to earn the profit which you forecasted, and also what better you can do in order to understand, in order to make it sure that you don't underachieve your goal. So that's what it's about, the performance management. Coming to the cost management, so as the name says, cost management. So whatever cost, whatever expenses we are making in a business, how we can reduce them without impacting the quality of our work. So that's all we study in the cost management, that is the section D of CMA US part 1. Coming to the section E, which is about the internal controls. So what happens, companies do what? They create controls, they create checks, they create control points at different levels in order to protect the money and the assets of a particular organization. Now lastly, and one of the most important ones is for the current roles and for the current era, is the section F, which will help you guys a lot in your career, is about the technology and analytics. So what happens, the companies, they use tools like Excel, Power BI and AI to make things smarter and business, and to make your business decisions better. So that's what we study in technology and analytics, like what we can do, what all strategy we can use in order to enhance your businesses using the AI and different kinds of technology. So this is what all we study in CMA US part 1. Now, coming to CMA US Part 2. In CMA US Part 2, we have again 6 sections. Now, in the first section, we study about the financial statement analysis. So, what happens? The companies, they study the financial statements. They study their financial statements. Financial statement means what? Balance sheet, profit and loss statement, statement of cash flows. Why do they do that? So that later on, if they want to understand that whether they should lend the loan or whether give a loan to someone or whether they need a loan, so what they can do? They can do the analysis of the financial statement of their own as well as the other organization into which they are lending or in which they are investing. So that's what we study in section A of CMA US Part 2. Coming to the section B, or the second part of CMA US Part 2, is about the corporate finance. So what happens in this particular section? We study about that whether you want to buy a car or you want to use it, if you don't have enough savings, you will take a loan or do that. So this is an example given in a layman's term. But if we see it from a business's perspective, what happens? Suppose if a business has to make a very huge amount of expenditure and they don't have that particular amount of money in hand with them, so what they can do? They can do this thing, that they can take a loan or maybe they can wait for some time, and in the future when they have enough savings, they can carry out that expenditure. So that's what we study about in corporate finance. Coming to the section C, the third section, which is about the decision analysis. So what happens whenever companies are doing what? They are comparing the cost, convenience and long-term benefits before choosing anything. So that's what we study about in decision analysis, whether to make a decision, when how to make a decision, what all factors to consider when they are making a decision. That's what we all study about in section C of CMA US Part 2. Coming to section D, which is the fourth section. In this we study about the risk management. So whether a company wants to protect themselves against the financial or business risk or maybe any kind of external risk, then where they will study about this? They will study under the risk management. Then coming to the fifth section, one of the most important sections. From this, a lot of questions is asked in the examination because it's kind of very interesting, and one of my favorite sections of the entire CMA US journey is about the investment decisions. So what happens when companies have extra cash, when they have excess cash with them? What they do what? They will invest it somewhere. Now where to invest, how to invest, how much amount of money to invest, how they will come to know about it? They will come to know about it via investment decisions. Then coming to the section F, which is about the professional ethics. Now you accidentally receive extra change from a shopkeeper and return it instead of keeping it. So what you are doing? You are doing the right thing even when no one is watching. So that's what ethics is all about. And why do we study ethics for CMA US Part 2? In order to keep up the name of the designation, so that no one can defame our this particular designation, and we ensure that if we are holding the title of CMA US with our name, we are not fooling with anyone. So that's why it's very important for us to be ethical also. That's why this here is an important section, and it's like, one of the very interesting sections which will give you a lot of perspective when you are working in corporate and you get into dilemma or maybe any such situation comes up. Then some knowledge which we have gained from this particular section will help us a lot in this area. Now lastly, what does CMA actually teaches us? It helps us to plan budgets, reduce costs, prepare financial reports, analyze business performance, make investment decisions, manage financial risk, use technology and data, and make ethical business decisions. So CMA US teaches us how to think like a finance manager or CFO. It just does not just help us how to prepare accounts. That means after completing the qualification of CMA US, we are becoming a different kind of individual who can not just prepare accounts but also can think in such a way which gives us a mindset of a finance manager or a CFO. So that's how that's all about the CMA US syllabus. And if you guys have any doubts, any confusions, please feel free to drop your comments, drop your queries in the comment section below. Thank you so much.